environment we need to be in order to get pregnant. And this applies to all the other Tom Talks that we're going to do about all other boosting, all other... Hello and welcome to this Tom Talk. Today we are talking nutrition. So nutrition is hugely important. So our main topic for today is pregnancy, how to get pregnant, and what are the natural things that we can do to boost our fertility. And today specifically we are talking about nutrition. It is one of my favorite topics. Nutrition has always been an important topic, not just for pregnancy but generally for health, and just to understand how our bodies work. And the more I learn, the more I'm sort of fascinated and amazed at what our bodies are capable of the healing they're capable of the renewal that the body is capable of. It's just truly astounding. So today we're talking nutrition, but before we jump straight into nutrition, actually most of our Tom Talks will begin with the topic of what it means to get pregnant, what sort of environment we need to be in order to get pregnant. And this applies to all the other Tom Talks that we're going to do about all other boosting, all other, not boosting, what am I trying to say? All other factors to boost. So all other factors to boost your fertility will still depend on this kind of main argument that we're about to present. So in order to get pregnant, our bodies and our minds, they're really, really clever, and the way that everything works, it analyzes the environment, it analyzes our the main function of our brain is our survival. So that is what our brain is constantly analyzing. What sort of environment are we in? Is it a safe environment or is it a hostile environment, etc. So if the analysis of the brain is that it's a hostile environment, then pregnancy is never a priority. Even if you haven't been diagnosed with some sort of problems, even if on paper and the doctor says that everything's fine, you should be able to get pregnant. But if the brain perceives danger or that it is somehow a hostile environment, then first priority would be self-preservation, and therefore pregnancy is put on the back burner. This is not something that will happen that easily. So what we are looking to create is a favorable environment. What is a favorable environment? A favorable environment is abundance. So it's when our body experiences great sleep, when we are rested, it experiences safety, so we're not worried about things. It experiences abundance in nutrients because there is no starvation mode. It experiences all of those factors that give an indication to the body that it is safe, and it's actually a good time to start thinking about reproducing. So it just naturally, everything starts flowing and opening up and being open to the idea of being pregnant. So nutrition. This is an interesting thing because obviously there are so many diets. Everybody's constantly talking about different kinds of food, and some people are vegan and some people are into keto, and it's just overwhelming amount of information, but a lot of it is focused on weight loss. So just very quickly, obviously we're not talking about weight loss here, but I just really wanted to address it because of how the market is structured, and it is very important for the market to keep selling all these different diets so that they keep on making all this money. And to do this, the messaging to women in particular, but also to men, is to be insecure about our bodies, to keep on trying all these different diets, to keep on trying all these different magic pills and creams and all sorts of things, so that obviously there is this turnover. However, what's really important to understand about diets is, first of all, they are temporary. So it's this it's very important to be consistent with something that we're doing. And so diets are something short term, but more importantly, it is almost always a deprivation of something. So we are depriving ourselves of, if you're cutting out carbs or if you are reducing fat intake or whatever it is, you're limiting something, and therefore the body goes into starvation mode. So even if you're limiting calories and you are still having a bit of everything, but you're limiting the calories, all of those processes, they send information to the brain that there is starvation mode, and that is one of the indicators that it is not a favorable environment to get pregnant in. So obviously it's not good to be on a diet for most diets actually for health reasons anyway. But our main aim with nutrition is to get to this optimal health, is to get to this, and by abundance, we don't mean overeating either. So it's important to get that balance right, because actually a good weight, not being overweight or not being, not really aiming for that slim sort of look that is so treasured in the media, those extremes are not great, but just aiming for this optimal health, this is really the main ambition. So in terms of the world, again, everyone's talking about calories. So this is something to address. I want to talk about nutrients, because that is what's important. Calories is something that gives you energy. Nutrients is something that gives you health. It's vital for life, for growth, for your immune system, for everything to function well and to function properly. So calories are just energy. They don't give anything, that it's very limited if we think just in terms of calories. So we have to switch the conversation and start talking about nutrients. Nutrients are the key. This is what's important. Nutrients sort of feed our body, but what's really also an important process, especially if we're talking about pregnancy, it's important to understand that our body renews itself. So you're constantly living in the new skin. You're constantly living in the new liver that keeps on regenerating. It's it's not regeneration, it's renewal. So the renewal, for that process to happen, you need to have the right nutrients to support that process. What's really amazing about this renewal process is just think about it. If you are getting a new liver, you can get healthier if you provide the right nutrients. If you limit that alcohol or whatever, you can actually allow your body to get to a really great healthy state, and maybe even get rid of some of the ailments or illnesses or whatever it is that's been bothering you. So it's a really great thing, not just for pregnancy, for general optimal health. And when we get to that level, the pregnancy then, it just allows for pregnancy to happen, in a very organic, natural way. So we are aiming here for optimal health. And so whether it's pregnancy or just for yourself, it's a great thing to do anyway. And this renewal, it does require all these nutrients, right? And so it's amazing, like for example, some renewal happens quicker than others. On the whole, it roughly takes about 7 to 10 years for the whole body to renew itself. Of course, there are exceptions. There are a couple of things that don't even get renewed, but those very few things. Actually, almost everything gets renewed. So like, for example, your teeth enamel doesn't get renewed. So it's something to protect. And the corneas in the eyes, that's something that stops growing and stops being renewed from like early baby age. The obvious things, like for example, that we can really easily observe are your nails and your hair, which is constantly growing. So this is just an indication of how this process works. With the other things, like even the skin, we're talking about exfoliating. Why? Because we're shedding these sort of old cells, because the skin is being renewed. And it takes about 4 to 8 weeks, depending on the person, but let's say roughly 6 weeks for the skin to fully renew itself. And the skin is our biggest organ. Just to give an example, liver is another amazing organ. It takes the liver about 300 to 500 days to renew. So just think about that. The regenerative, this sort of renewal is just absolutely incredible. If you give the right nutrients, you are literally just giving health. You're giving the opportunity for your body to work how it's supposed to, and it wants to be healthy, and it's working really hard for us to be healthy. So these are just some examples, but some things renew even quicker. I believe the intestinal cells renew even something like every 5 days or so, because of the stomach acid and things like that. So it's constantly being renewed to work properly. Because the endometrium must also regenerate with each menstrual cycle. What is endometrium? Yeah, it's a layer of tissue that lines the uterus. So it's an incredible process, and just understanding the fact that all our organs renew, and our uterus and the lining and everything that preps for pregnancy and then supports the pregnancy, if we support ourselves with the right nutrients, with the right nutrition, we are really creating that strong foundation that's required. And this is something to test out. We invite you to try all of those things, and we invite your comments. And we want to see it. We know that it works. We just want for you to try and to see just how incredible our bodies are.
So now we're going to move on to our recommendations. What do we recommend in a simplified way? Because that's a lot of information to take in all at once. So here's a little break.